Monkeypox is trending right now, but there's one very important and very racist piece of the story that's missing from a lot of the chit-chat that I'm seeing here. So first off, we know that monkeypox has been declared a global health emergency. It was first discovered in the 1950s on lab monkeys in Denmark. The first human case was discovered in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and that's currently also where most of the cases are. Want to know why? Hi, I'm Angela Sutton. I'm a professor. I wrote a book on slavery, and most of my videos tend to be about how slavery is really the root cause of almost everything evil in this world, including monkeypox. So I'm going to introduce you really quickly to the idea of polycrisis. Poly just means many, so many crises. The idea that when you have multiple crises in this world, they end up becoming connected because of how globalized our world is. And eventually, all of these smaller crises lead to bigger systemic crises that begin to affect more and more people until it feels like every day is a new fresh hell. So, think about the war in Ukraine, the assault on watermelon rights, the emerging factions of fascists in the United States, Europe, and many other places in the world, Project 2025, and the genocide in Congo. Now, you bet your butt that's not a coincidence. You see, Central and Eastern Africa were blessed/cursed with an abundance of just incredible natural resources. Back during colonial times, Europeans, here mainly the Belgians, created extraction-based infrastructure. That means that all infrastructure in the Congo, roads, railroads, electricity, running water where it exists, were created solely for the means of assisting Europeans in getting all of those natural resources, like rubber, out of the Congo. And since the Belgians invested so much money in creating this infrastructure, they were going to get it back. You have to read this one, but not before bed. Essentially, the Belgians mutilated the Congolese. They unalived those who dared to resist. They made their families watch while they were being cannibalized. I mean, it's truly horrific stuff, just horrific. There are photos of all of this. There's photographic evidence of it because it happened until the 1960s. Like the 1960s. And I'm not showing any of it here because you all deserve to get some sleep tonight, but trust when I say it's unwatchable. It really is. So once the colonial era ended in 1960, Congo was left looking much like this. There was a power vacuum and the Congo was in absolute disarray, and they received very little functional aid to repair themselves, right? Armed fighters, many of them who have been tried in the International Criminal Court in The Hague, spilled into the Congo from neighboring countries, creating further destabilization. This means the Democratic Republic of Congo has always known martial law and the lack of things that you need to maintain a stable society. Many Congolese who might have been in the position to help use their privilege in order to get out so that they can have some measure of safety, understandably, right? But this means that most of the Congolese are lacking access to modern sewage systems and sanitation, accessible and well-supplied hospitals with educated doctors and pharmacists, with regular electricity, right? If you can't always rely on readily accessible trash pickup, closed sewers, electricity, hospitals, pharmacies, modern medication, or even just basic safety at home without the threat of armed militants being violent toward your family, it creates conditions where disease spreads quickly and where it goes undetected for longer. It also creates conditions where people might have to run into the bush where infected monkeys live. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like there's a knock-on effect. So fleeing the violence in the Congo means losing out on educated professionals in your society who could detect and who can fight disease. It also means that areas too dangerous for Doctors Without Borders to go exist nearly everywhere. It means that there's a lot of food insecurity because farmers have become attacked or their crops and animals destroyed in war. It also means that people are more incentivized to eat infected bushmeat. It means no attention or money can be put toward climate research or environmental conservation. By allowing the genocide in Congo to go on, these crises converge and they become everyone's problem. Now, take a country with these historic problems, these grave historic problems directly caused by Europeans, right? And introduce mining companies from China, Switzerland, and the United Arab Emirates. These companies are now taking the place of Belgium. They're using that same infrastructure and the same routes to do the things that the Belgians did, only now they've outsourced the violence. right? They don't care how they get the diamonds, the gold, the minerals that make your phone and my car work, right? They will pay anyone who controls those things. And so armed Congolese groups battling over control are seizing those mines, and then they're enslaving people and forcing them to work until they are unalived so that they can use the money to continue fighting for control of this land that is rich in resources. There will always be nations willing to pay for those resources. That's us, right? Now, these are the ideal circumstances for epidemics to spread, and it increases the chances of monkeypox coming to all of our doors. If we stop the genocide, we have a much better chance of combating the epidemic and keep it from becoming the next pandemic. That makes this a global problem, and it requires a global solution. So when you hear people talking about monkeypox, especially when they want to blame the Congo for the problem, let's all remember who created the problem initially. You can't have these talks without talking about the history, right? You can't have these conversations without discussing how really Europe and all of the people who benefited from colonialism created the problems that are now coming home to roost. Please don't forget to like and follow for more.